Hey guys, if you're enjoying the show and listening to us talk about what needs to be said in surfing, then please do us a favour and chuck us a follow wherever you get your podcast fix.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and all the rest. The best part about it, it's going to cost you absolutely nothing. That way we can keep bringing you the goods. You can also find some of our stuff on Instagram and TikTok where we throw up some extras. So please tune into those.
Our handle on that is @the Podcast. And once again, thanks for listening. Enjoy the show.
Who would abuse us?
Mate, you should see. I'm actually going to pull them up right now. We got several, everyone came out to bat for, the old school,
Old school Dan something?
yeah, which is weird because it's Surfer of the Week, not Surfer of the 1980s. So, which was weird, but on a reel it did quite well. It was mostly positive, and then I don't know. It seemed like it hit the dark part of the internet,
The dark part of the boogie board world.
the dark web, and
Dark boog.
the dark boog, and it got pretty heavy. I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep a lot of this in, but there's several slurs.
Hit me.
Okay. So a lot of people saying that. So DK Wars did it first, which is sweet, good on him.
And they tagged the person they're talking to, right?
Yeah, they tagged him in it.
Have you been on that account though?
No, is it real?
It's just conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory about governments. I think he's a sovereign citizen now.
Oh, do you follow him?
No, I just went on there because everyone kept tagging him. This guy was the OG. This guy's the OG. So I went on and had a look, and he's full-blown sovereign citizen, which is currently in the news right now in Australia. Not a good time to be a sovereign citizen.
I'm sure. Yeah. Geez, it's taking a while to load, but yeah. There's some homophobic slurs in there
Towards us?
towards us.
Oh, hit me.
Well, I'm not going to say them.
Come on. You're just repeating a comment. You're allowed to repeat a comment.
Then just several people calling us gay.
That's so original. I love it.
And then there was one guy that took particular
I'm going to have a quick look at this.
offense to us saying that Italo learnt to surf on an Esculid because he thought we were calling bodyboarders Esculids.
They are SQ.
Yeah, but he wasn't stoked with that, and he pulled me on it, to which I replied.
Oh, no, you fell in.
I replied pretty promptly and said, "Hey mate, no disrespect here," something along these lines. No disrespect from us. We respect bodyboarders and the surfing that they do and the waves they surf. And I was purely pointing out that Italo learnt to surf on an Esculid, and he wrote again, another cheesed off at us again, because I think he didn't believe that he actually learnt to surf on an Esculid. And then I replied again, and then he replied again. So it spiraled pretty quickly, and I left it at that.
Mate, you dabbled in it. Once you're in, you get sucked in the vortex. You just got to leave it.
I just didn't really like the...
Oh, yeah. Orion 1830, you are gay.
There you go. There you go.
No context towards anything else, just you are gay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that.
We actually copped a bit of hate this week. The other one was
this guy's... Oh, he said this guy's are idiots. Is he talking about these guys as in us, or this guy as in Zancudo?
That's how I'd read into it, Zach. I think he'd be talking about us, to be honest.
Okay, that was by Jihadalago 1986.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he follows us.
Oh, sweet.
What a lord. Who else have we got in here? There's still... Man, this thing got so many likes. Who is this Zancudo, man? I feel like... Did we just unearth, Pandora's box here of...
His name's not Zancudo.
I know, I just love calling him Zancudo.
That's his Instagram name.
Oh, yeah, this one I love, and I think this one hits a nerve every time someone calls me it. So cute how these kids do everything they cannot call this... Sorry, I'll start again. So cute how these kids do everything they can to not call this surfing. How old are you, Finley?
25.
I'm 26, so at what point do people stop seeing people as kids?
I don't know. There's the guy I'm referring to, South Australian bodyboarding or something.
That was by Black Hawk Brown.
Okay.
I think that's a nice ode to Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Anyway, we got one by Rob Mando. Denny Kim, Chris 1, Chris Taloa was standing up years ago, Muppets. Nothing you fucktards. I actually like that. I like that. I'll take that, Robbie. I'll take that.
We weren't saying he was the first person to do it. We just said we found him and we thought it was cool at what he was doing. But
yeah, we might have to say it in Spanish next time so people can understand what we
can't understand us, and just the people that actually seem to appreciate it, which are a lot of is that Carlos?
Someone else is calling him Zenkudo, but maybe that's
his nickname.
Right. Anyway, if no one knows what we're talking about, we put up a reel. Surfer of the week last week was the Instagram handle is Zenkudo Zonti. It went pretty bananas. So bananas that people are calling us fucktards. So just like Jetstar, mate. No such thing as bad publicity.
No, you take it. Anyone calling us slurs in the comments, every time they do that, it just boosts it. So I just sort of sit back and sometimes I engage, but
like there's 168 comments. It got shared between other accounts 4,500 times. So I reckon we send an invoice to Zenkudo and just say, look, a bit of a finder's fee on that one.
No, this one's on us, mate. We're frothing to have discovered you and seeing what you're doing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty mad.
But we'll move away from that, Zach.
Yep. Well, something really big happened to me.
What?
I actually watched an entire CT event from start to finish.
The reason why people are here.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever watched one so intentively from start to finish.
That comes with an asterisk though, because it's only one day. You've watched you watched one day of surfing. You watched a single day of competition
in a time zone that was friendly to my sleeping patterns.
And it was short day as well.
It was like 6 hours. Yeah. I think it was 5 hours.
Yeah, that's rookie work, mate.
Yes, we had the Lexus WSL Finals. That if you were sleeping for the last 48 hours and not conscious, that's what went down at Fiji.
Your boys being the hardest working podcasters in the game. We worked all day, put up stumps, and then came home, and we're gonna churn this potty out for your eyes and ears tomorrow morning, so you can wake up and relive all the action on what was. It was maybe an anticlimactic day of surfing, potentially.
Yeah, bit of a fizzer.
Depending on how you look at it. Definitely not if your name's Iago Dora or Molly Picklum. I'm sure they're still probably well into the night right now and having a good old time.
I think they're 3 hours ahead, so they're almost coming up to midnight, and if they're asleep, I'd be thoroughly annoyed. Yeah. They should be putting that scuba mask on and just smashing a couple tinnies.
Agreed.
But yeah,
skull drags.
A couple skull drags with O'Leary.
Yeah. But look, it was eventful nonetheless, and we had a few like sort of early morning, like I don't know, woke up and checked the surf, and man, you both changed our fantasy teams given the lack of waves that one particular surf forecasting website has led us down the garden path on. And
mate, someone at Surfline getting fired for sure.
It was heavy, man. Like I'd put my absolute sack on the line and went out and posted a video of my head yelling, Robbo won't be beating this event. And sure enough, Robbo surfed arguably the worst heat I've ever seen him surf.
Well, that plus the warm-ups.
Yeah.
The warm-ups looked pretty tough.
I was watching the warm-ups going, he's sweet. Like, it's not going to look like... Well, no, as in like...
Scuba dive, like 10 times.
That's what I mean. Like, I was like, it's not going to look like this on...
Oh, right, gotcha.
When he surfs, I'm like, I don't even care. Like, the warm-up, great. Like, push his odds out on Sportsbet. Do whatever you got to do. Like, I'm happy to take him. And sure enough, we roll into the webcast this morning, and it is 3 to 4 foot sort of slow, dribbly Cloudbreak. And immediately... Yeah, we updated the fantasy teams and changed that one to Italo, which was a pretty easy beat, which we'll get into. We're gonna go for a heat by heat sort of breakdown and what went on. You've got some fun sort of facts for
I just wanted to. They were pushing Lexus pretty hard today, and I recently learned about how Lexus come about. Are you familiar with Lexus and what they do?
Yeah, they make cars.
Yeah. Do you know who owns them?
No.
Toyota. They are Toyotas.
Right.
So if you're in Australia or in any other part of the world with both parties that were just named, have you noticed the new Prado looks like the new Lexus?
No, I'm not a big car man, but
They're identical.
Sure,
They're
I'm
the
sure
same
that-
car.
right, okay.
So yeah,
What? So just for me, a nuffy on this. What would a Toyota Prado set you back brand new, and what would a Lexus Prado?
there'd be about 30, 40 grand difference
right.
in between like the two same models,
Okay.
theoretically.
Okay.
So way back when, I think it was about 20, 30 years ago,
Mhm.
Toyota were known as like the reliability, working class blue collar car, and they still are.
Yeah.
That's what they're made to do.
I know that much about cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So highly reliable, well priced, happy days.
Yep.
They said we want to make a car and sell it for a lot of money.
Yep.
They quickly learned that who's going to want to buy a $100,000 Corolla?
Sure.
You just can't. It's the badge.
Yeah.
You know, when you got Ferrari, it's all about the badge.
Yeah.
Lamborghini's the badge. So they couldn't sell it. So they said, well, let's get everyone in a boardroom. How do we sell a highly inflated price car?
Yeah.
And they said, all right, well, where are we going to sell it? And they said, the US has got a really good market for it.
Mhm.
What are we going to sell? We're going to sell luxury cars. Lexus stands for luxury exports to the US.
Oh, true. There you go.
There you go.
Ah.
So they said our cars aren't going to sell because a Toyota badge just resonates with blue collar. So we can't ask for $90,000.
Yeah.
Let's make our own car
Mhm.
in-house with a different badge. Lexus luxury exports to the US, and we can sell it for an inflated price.
Right.
So it's like Qantas's Jetstar Qantas.
So it's the same car.
Same car.
Exactly the same. There's nothing different.
Trims, finer details.
Okay.
The Nissan have the same. It's called Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an elevated platform, but the same warehouse.
Right.
There's a few others. A few China GWM and whatnot have it. Havel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Great Wall and Havel.
Yeah.
Havel is the upgraded version of a Great Wall. Pretty smart. Pretty smart. That's Lexus. That's my fun fact for
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were taking that somewhere. It's good fact.
Yep.
I'm sure everyone was thrilled to hear that one. I thought you were linking that back to something. There you go. Luxury exports to the US. I
That's
actually
what it
didn't
stands
know that. 7 days into this event waiting period, though, Zach, we had to wait to get this thing going.
Yeah, it took a minute.
Mm.
And you're happy to wait a minute when they're going, it's going to be fucking 6 to 8 foot clean faces. It's going to be amazing. Woke up at 4:15 this morning, and the first thing I thought of on a beautiful sunny day is I've got to change my fantasy team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, last week we did say, disclaimer, our fantasy picks were based upon 6 to 8 foot Cloudbreak.
Yeah. This is us covering our asses because we did
100%.
horrifically.
Some people did message me today and be like, ha ha ha, because I had Betty Lewis going
So-
through and doing a clean sweep.
Soon as, because we glazed Jack so hard, and, well, I did. Anyway, you did to an extent, but not as hard as me. And soon as he lost, soon as he beat him, I just had all these Brazilian guys in the comment section just sending me laughy faces, and I just I got to cop it. Like, I can't. There's nothing I can say here. You just completely got dusted.
Yep.
And you can argue until the cows come home.
I thought
The waves.
so you jumped off Jack and onto Italo.
I did. No, I jumped off him, but
Yeah.
because I'd put like multiple reels up about Jack going to win the comp, and then he freaking just went lobster diving for half an hour.
What's the bet? So this is live the day after the event.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this now, go on Surfline and check it. I reckon it's pumping.
I think tomorrow's that swell built pretty heavily into the afternoon, and I feel like they're going to wake up tomorrow. It's going to be 6 to 8 foot, exactly what we were hoping for today.
I'm baffled. I reckon it was someone's birthday.
I reckon they saw waves and went, "We've got waves."
Yeah. Rule number 1 of surfing: never drive away from waves.
Yeah. 100%.
But
I think
I don't know, to wait that long and then pull the trigger a little prematurely, maybe. It hurts. Have you seen the forecast for next week?
Yeah, it looks incredible. Looks really good. As is the theme of
But we've been here before. Because a week ago from now, yes, today looked pumping.
Yeah, they just every time just bang smack in the middle of the contest period is when the waves suck, and either side of it is pumping. So
Yep.
it's not the first time, it won't be the last, but
Speaking of WSL though, I accidentally and regrettably stumbled upon the lineup podcast with Dan Prodan.
yeah.
I was driving and I actually nearly fell asleep, so that was pretty sad. But they announced the winners of their fantasy team. This is the WSL's podcast. The winners of their fantasy, of the WSL fantasy team. You know what they got?
No.
Okay, third place got a $50 voucher for the WSL online store.
Can you buy anything on there for $50? Probably buy a beer coaster.
I think you get the top of a Yeti bottle.
Okay.
Just the top, not the bottom.
Little
Not the
lid.
important part.
You get a straw and a lid for Yeti. Yeah, okay.
Guess what first place gets?
It's a freaking, I don't know.
I skipped one. Second place.
Well, I'm sure second's going to suck as well. What's that?
$100 online voucher for the
So I think I can see where this is going. His first place $150 voucher.
Oh, ding, 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 ding. You win, sir. Are you fucking serious? The WSL make the fantasy whole team league thingy.
I'm just going to look up what a jersey costs quickly.
And you win a $150 online voucher to a store that I didn't even know existed. It's that bad.
Be better off giving me a credit to your gambling site that you're plugging on there.
Bet online.
Whatever they call it. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll send an invoice to Bet.
So if you want a crew neck jumper, a Lexus WSL Finals crew neck, it's $85. So you've used half your voucher there.
What's a jersey? A
jersey. A Yago.
Yeah.
You can get a yellow Yago jersey for $148.95.
Fuck yeah.
So you can
$150.
You can buy a yellow Yago jersey.
So you come out $150 ahead.
Yeah. And then with your $1.50, I guess they just retain that back into the...
Oh, no. It'd be like $19 US postage.
Oh, you probably end up having to pay money to...
Paying money for a jersey. You have to pay money for a jersey.
You can still buy a Slater jersey, mind you, which is cool. I wonder if he's still...
For the listeners out there, if you in the Largo podcast fantasy surf team of this year, which we will get to later on in this episode, you get a $1,000 online code at Billabong. 1,000. That's 10 times more than the WSL's Prodan lineup one.
We're just a little bitty, itty bitty podcast.
No, wrong. We're just two fucktards on the two gay fucktards.
Look, let's get into some heats. We've done everything but that. I think we've been recording now for 25 minutes or so.
Yep, let's do it.
We're going to go through heat by heat, and we're going to just recall and recount what happened and where it all went wrong for people, and where it went right for people too.
Mm-hmm.
So first heat, women's heat 1, Betty Lou, Sakura Johnson versus Caroline Marks. Zach, your pick to go quite far into this event was Betty Lou.
Based upon 6 to 8 foot clean paces.
Sure. We'll add that.
Disclaimer.
Every time that, we'll just know that that's what the predictions were based on. We're going to interject that every time. Talk us through your thoughts on that heat. What were you thinking watching that?
The first wave of Betty and the first wave of Caroline said it all.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very tricky wave.
Yeah.
It is very hard to match the pace, and it looked like Betty just struggled to match the pace. The first wave said it all. She took off and did nothing, theoretically. Just raced it down the line.
Yeah.
And there was opportunity to do turns. There was maybe a little shampoo opportunity, but when the pace of that wave there is so difficult to read that you find yourself in her shoes often where you go, fuck, like, did I even have time to do a turn?
Mm.
You do, but like in hindsight. And then when Caroline stood up and did those turns, I just went, yeah, I think I know where this is going to go. And that was pretty early on in a 35-minute heat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, as soon as I saw the waves this morning, again, another sort of Italo moment. And to be fair, I picked Caroline from the beginning. I just didn't think Betty had the ability to go with Caroline at a wave like Cloudbreak. I did have a financial investment on Caroline to win the title, which again we'll get to later. It was not a small sum of money that I was returning on Caroline to win the world title. I did, however, forget that for Caroline to win the world title, she was going to have to come up against Molly Picklum, who ideally we would like to
Forgot
win.
the end one.
Yeah, so ideally Molly was the ideal winner for us. So I was kind of like sort of semi forgot about that. But look, this heat was really, really. Betty was never in it. She got a smaller score at the end, which kind of allowed her to.
Oh no, she was in it.
I can't agree with
She posted a somewhat good score.
She posted a somewhat good score.
She
late,
belted it a few times in the backhand.
yeah, but late in the heat, where Caroline had already sort of set herself up with 2 okay scores, and Caroline had priority. So for Betty to, I think the way it was working, that Caroline had a higher score and then a low score. Betty had sort of like a very sort of moderate range score that came in under Caroline's. But Caroline had the priority. So as soon as another good wave came, she was going to take it and push that requirement up quite significantly for Betty. And it was going to be very, very difficult for Betty to, unless Caroline made a really bad mistake and went a closeout or something and only got a 0.5, but she kind of controlled that heat really well at the end. And to me, at no point in that heat did I kind of go, oh, Betty's going to win this heat.
I disagree. Caroline looked flustered at the end. She had I won't call it a stranglehold over Betty, but Betty was having a tough time. She got flexed jumping off the jet ski.
So can we just go back to that? That was hilarious. Like, that is the first thing you get told. Like, when you get on a jet ski, it's like, grab your leggy. Like, make sure you got your leggy in your hand.
It happens, man. Like, I feel like first heat, first time in the WSL Finals.
Yeah, but you can't be like that. That mistake cost her, like, that cost her a wave in that final exchange, because she had to go and get another board because she knocked a fin out. Pretty sure Caroline.
So Caroline didn't have priority, and Betty Lou still kept priority.
Yeah.
Even though she left the lineup.
Yeah, but I think she paddled back out when a wave came that Betty Lou probably could have gone.
No, that's what I meant. Caroline at this point started to get flustered and took a few waves where I was like, she was never like in a commanding lead, but she had priority. She just could have cruised for a bit.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't have priority at the time. She just started taking off on and see some shitty waves, and I was like, I just think she looked a bit flustered. Quickly recovered though, and in hindsight, didn't really matter because Betty did put up a fight at the end. She needed, off the top of my head, I think it was a 6, got a 4. So, like, you can't say that she didn't.
She got a 4. If she's going for a world title, she's getting 4s. Can we be real here? She got a 4.
Hey, what's is it hard to breathe up there over there? Is it what's the air temp up there?
Just I'd say take your Ruka hat off if you had one on, but you don't have one on. But anyway, look, Caroline was the worthy winner of that heat. I think we can both agree there. Yeah, all right. I think most people can agree Caroline won that heat.
I'm not disagreeing.
Beautiful.
No, not at all. There was moments where I was like, this could go either way. And will I say moments throughout the whole heat? No, there was like a moment at the end. There was a moment, after Betty got that one, her first proper wave of consequence. But it was a tough heat for Betty.
It was. She put it this way, she would have come in and been very, very disappointed with her.
100%. You have to wait a week. You've got all this, like, you'd be trying to imagine what the heat's going to go like. You'd be role-playing it in your head over and over and over, and she gets her leggy caught around a fucking jet ski and falls off and rips her fins out. Like, that is not in
so cruel.
the playbook. So women's heat 1, done and dusted. Caroline gets the win, and that's who we both picked in our fantasy.
Correct.
I will repeat, last week on the potty, I did say that Betty would do a number on it, but no. I saw that was based upon a different forecast.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning and went, I got to change it.
Similarly, with men's heat 1, Jack Robinson versus Italo Ferreira. Very, very disappointing surfing from Jack Robinson. And once again, it was purely down to the waves that we were presented with on finals day. It definitely got better, and I think it probably suited Jack maybe had he started in like later in the day when the waves were bigger. But it was sort of 3 to 4 foot Italo skate park waves, and he very quickly took Jack apart, even sort of under that priority. It's kind of made mention in one of the videos I made on our Instagram that Italo was going to be a bit of a workhorse under priority, which he was. It just sort of, the waves weren't conducive to Jack using that priority to drop an 8 or a 9 first wave. Like, it was very difficult surfing. It's always going to be difficult for Jack to drop a big score on his backhand in waves that are, I won't say mushy, because there's still some punch in it, but it's not the type of waves that I'd be picking Jack to do well in at Cloudbreak.
Yeah, that was a tough watch. That was a really tough watch. And in my opinion, it was all over within the first minute when Italo stood up and he started stalling. And when I mean stalling, I don't mean for the barrel.
No.
He was like...
On the tail.
He was on the tail waiting for an air section immediately. Like, this is his first heat, his first minute in a world title deciding fate heat.
Yeah.
And he's already just going, I'm going hell for fucking leather.
Yeah.
And straight away, doing punts. As soon as I saw him stalling, I went, well, she's kind of all over Red Rover. Sure enough, yeah, he smashed it. Jack didn't even look like he was ever in this heat.
No, and funnily enough, the best score he got in this heat was 7.5, and it didn't really include an air. He threw the tail and whatnot, but that was his biggest score. He did set the heat up really well though, with a few sort of 6s, I believe, that were purely just racing down the line, and I think he had an alley oop and a closeout, and then he also had a full rotation air reverse for a couple mid 6s or whatever, which, to be fair, that if he'd done that on its own, it would have been enough regardless. Jack never got out of the parking lot, really.
There was mistakes after mistakes.
Yeah.
There was nosedive. There was boggles. There was poor wave choice. It was a clinical car crash.
Clinical car crash
that occurred for Jack. It was heartbreaking because, like, to get that fairy tale ending at Chopes and then come into this and to have the world watching and doing that is, man, that's a kick in the nuts.
Given the correct forecast, Jack would have been an absolute nightmare to stop in this event, and you just knew as soon as it was a bit mushy and a bit more turn reliant, he's sort of below those guys. Even I'd say Geordie Smith. Like, Geordie Smith was a guy all week that we kind of didn't really give a chance to. And in those sorts of conditions, though, like, I'd put him above Jack in terms of his backside turns.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think in a high performance left, I wouldn't have him at that top end of my fantasy.
So, yeah, look, that one, there's not really much to talk about there. It was purely the Italo show. He got that done in emphatic style, didn't give Jack any chance to really progress. So, yeah, Italo progresses out of that one. Then we move on to Heat 2, Caroline Marks versus Katie Simmers. You had some thoughts on the first exchange in that one?
I thought Caroline was slightly undercooked on this one.
Yep.
It was a 5 and a 4.68 or something off the top of my head. I just thought there was a bit more breathing room in between those two scores.
Yep.
Nonetheless, the result came through with Katie not making through that heat. That was Caroline advancing.
Yeah. But like, Katie, I don't oftentimes know what they're looking for with Kate, because she doesn't seem to throw a lot of spray, Katie Simmers. She's really graceful and she has really good style, and her turns are really well placed, but she doesn't have the back foot power that a lot of the other girls on tour have. She's really quite, you'd call her quaint, like there's not a lot to her.
Yeah.
And she does struggle with the spray side of things, but her timing's really good, and she puts it up in the lip in critical sections, which the judges seem to appreciate. But I was kind of with you there. Like, I thought a couple of Katie's scores came in, I was like, oh, that's on the higher side. Like, maybe could have seen those drop half a point or so, or maybe have Marks's similar in terms of score. But like, Marksy she got her stuff together later on in the heat, dropped a couple of okay scores. I think she ended up with like a 14.5 point heat total in that one, and Katie managed sort of 11.3, which on the back end in those sorts of waves was still just a decent heat total. But there was definitely an advantage being on the forehand earlier in the day, I thought.
100%.
Especially on the girls.
It all comes down to the pace of the wave.
Yeah.
You're facing the wave. You can read it so much easier.
Yeah.
I think everyone struggled except for Caroline in that regard.
Yeah, and she really ripped. The goofy foot trend though sort of was bucked in the next heat where kind of looked like, and this is men's heat 2, which featured Italo Ferreira and Griffin Colapinto. Kind of looked like Italo was trying to repeat the same recipe from heat 1. And I think he was kind of a victim of an increasing swell, which Griffin seemed to identify those bigger set waves. And he basically, Italo was doing the same stuff that was getting him scores in the heat before, but as soon as Griffin put himself on one of those bigger set waves, the judges immediately, they gave him the first excellent score of the day. I think he got an 8, and it was apparent that was his game plan, and didn't really matter what Italo did on those smaller sort of three footers that he was taking off on. He was doing some amazing airs, but you just can't achieve the same scoreline that say Griffin could on the double the size set waves that he seemed to be getting. Really, his backhand's underrated, eh? It's so good.
I call it today on socials.
Yeah.
I think I put in the late afternoon gas off. Is Griffin Colapinto's, is his backhand in contention for best backhand on tour? It's not the most powerful, and I think obviously Connor comes to mind for that.
Yeah.
But fucking hell, he's so talented.
It's not like he doesn't get the same projection and the same spray that your Connors or your Ramsey Bookums or your Wiggly Duntuses, or if you're going way back, doesn't get that same projection, but it's more like where he's putting his board and the reaction of his board out of the lip. It almost looks like he's doing like a 50-50 on a skateboard, if you can sort of think about that. It's more of a click rather than, but he's hitting the lip in really precarious spots and allowing the tail to slide, but in full control the entire time. And then,
the way he lands is most people are riding out not smoothly, like a boggle or like a coming out half fakey and then having to navigate, slow down, then restart. It's all got the flow. Yeah. And like the fin throws that he does are insane. They really do connect one by one. Usually a fin throw can just put you off pace for the rest of the wave. Yeah. Man, he's got that shit dialed.
He's so good, man. Like, it's more the control. Like he does throw a bit of water. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't throw any spray. There's still spray there, but it's not as noticeable as, say, when like Connor hits the lip. But it is. It's just the timing.
It's not like fan.
No, it's the timing when he's hitting the lip and the positions that he's putting himself and his board in, and he's riding out really clean of sections that a lot of guys would be nosediving or just basically unable to stay on top of their board. So,
but this one started pretty close. Yeah, both posting, I believe, mid sixes. First exchange. As you mentioned, from that last 20, 15 minutes of the heat, the swell really pushed in. Yeah. Griffin capitalising on that, and Italo just become desperate. He was doing punts, and they were, I don't want to say good, but they were good.
They were sick.
But they were looking so forced.
And it's hard. The judges weren't born yesterday. They're the WSL judges for a reason. They know when you're doing a full rotation air reverse, which is a very difficult maneuver to do, but you're doing it on a wave that's 3 foot. They're going to always reward Griffin out the back on a 6-footer going through the lip. It's just how it is.
Even the style of the airs changed from the first heat to the second heat. First heat was above the lip, off a more meatier section. Yeah. Whereas at the end, he just started to race and he'd have all his speed, and rather than projecting up, he'd just go like across. Yeah. And it looks impactful because he lands in the flats. And like when you see someone land in the flats, like you can appreciate how hard that is. But it just didn't look pretty. No. It looked like he's just checking the box. Yeah. And he had all this speed and he had to do it because he was usually most of the wave and then just doing nothing, like racing most of the wave. Yeah. And then doing these Hail Mary airs that were not the best to look at the end. And you can kind of tell by his body language, he wasn't going to sell it. He was kind of just riding out of him, flick him off and being like, oh, fuck, that's another 4.
I think he knew, because even you could see he dropped his shoulders at one point and was paddling back out. And I think he kind of was just like, I can't get scores. And I think if it became pretty clear, he did get a set wave and you could just see his turns aren't there. So his best option in that heat was to do airs, but he was doing them on waves that were far too small to fetch scores. And just to repeat what I said earlier, is Griffin's out the back on 6-footers. They're going to go head and shoulders above on that every day of the week, and the score line reflected that. I think Griffin comes out of that one like 16 points, excellent heat total for him. Italo 13.67, and that's lights out for Italo's year. He's done. Was looking pretty dangerous. I had to admit, like when I saw his first heat, I was like, oh, he's going to be a problem today. And sort of Griffin ended his run pretty early.
If those airs started connecting a little more, if he looked like he did in the first heat and carried that through,
if the swell didn't pick up as well, if the swell remained the same size, I think you would have had a full launch fest between Yago and Italo in the final, and it would have been sick still, but it wouldn't have been the kind of surfing you want to see, like the type of waves you want to see your world champion
not
ground
associated with that location.
Nah, you want to see bigger waves. So
yeah,
we'll move on from there. Italo loses that one. Griffin progresses through. Women's Heat 3, Caroline Marks, Gabby Bryant.
Yeah, so this one was a slow start. Both producing 4-point rides, less than par for the first exchange. This one become pretty difficult to watch for Gabby, in my opinion.
It was a tough watch for sure.
That one reminded me a bit about Jack. It never looked good. It never really showed signs of this could tip the scale at any moment and go her way. Yeah, she just looked unsettled. She looked like she was figuring out Cloudbreak for the first time. Yeah, and when you've got Caroline, who's dusted Betty, she spent 35 minutes out there, and then she's just dusted Katie. So she's up to an hour of surfing it. It's gonna be tough to beat.
She had a free surf too,
mate. Marathon. Man.
Yeah. Just. Gabby never really looked comfortable. You can tell that's not her go. Sort of left-handers in a building swell, mind you. She's had results on lefts or like in beaches before, and it's smaller, and she can get her backhand going. But in those roping sort of left point break style waves in an increasing swell, you could tell she wasn't looking amazing, and Caroline was starting to look really good, and it just converged that way. And Caroline put up a pretty impressive heat total again, another 13.67, which was more than enough to boot Gabby. She only put up 9.47, didn't break the 10-point barrier.
This is harsh, but it's true. There was a wave where Gabby did like 4 turns on the back end there. It looked QS level. It really did. The connection with the last 2 turns was so off-timed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
She made some poor mistakes as well. She made some
she made priority errers.
Big priority errors. There was one.
Yeah.
She literally took off on a set wave, got to the bottom, and just jumped off. Just like what?
Oh, well, she did that bottom turn, and she did what I've done plenty of times. You know when your back foot fails?
Yeah.
Like you're pushing so hard that it just like goes weak.
Yeah.
And it looks like you've broken your femur or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
But just that wave itself it was like a frothy monster. Like it just never looked that good. And sometimes when you're on a point break, you know, like you see those, like a set will come, and then the one behind it will push in on the inside, and it'll have froth on it, but you can see the line's good, and you're like, oh, this is a good wave. And potentially that's what she was seeing. But yeah, as soon as she bogged that first turn, she like kind of came out of it, was so much whitewash on the face. Like it looked really hard to surf, and then just got to the bottom and just went, I'm out, and just jumped off.
Yeah, I remember, I forget who was commentating at the time, but even they were shocked. They're like, oh, and then they didn't say anything. Like,
it was
them by surprise.
It was a big error, in my opinion.
I do feel for her because she had such a commanding year. Yeah, smashed it, and then to surf a QS heat, a QS level heat in the final 5. Yeah, it was pretty disappointing. I'm sure she's probably not feeling the best. Hopefully she's having a few Fiji golds tonight and just worry about it tomorrow.
I'm sure she will be. Obviously, Caroline moves through that one.
Yep.
Then move on to Griffin versus Geordie.
Oh, my God.
This was a bit of a sort of hammer-a-thon, this thing.
This thing changed dramatically with 15 minutes to go.
It did. Me and you were chatting. I'd back Geordie in, and you were going...
Yeah, you put it on the nose, right?
Yeah, and you were going... You sent me a text pretty quickly, and we're like, oh, you just...
I said, keep dreaming.
Yeah, you said keep dreaming. You also said you've wasted your money, which was thought a nice touch as well after 5 minutes, and I've actually at that point believed I had. I just got you in my...
He had 0.5, 0.5, and Griffin comboed him.
Yeah, I was worried, but I also didn't need you to tell me that he was comboed because I was...
Man, up on my high horse over here.
Yeah, I know. Like I say, Griffin did take control of this one pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Couple very healthy scores. Geordie kept falling and...
Well, no, he got 2 waves and stood up, pulled off, went the very next wave, stood up, pulled off.
Yeah, but then it got
Fantastic
one,
start.
did a couple turns, and then went for his first significant turn of the wave and
Fell off.
So it was like,
Yep.
oh, Geordie's done. Griffin had like
It was looking like a walkthrough.
like 14 points at this point. You know, like he had a big scoreline, and
This is the first 10 minutes of this heat. If it was a 10-minute heat, me and you probably would have made it. That's how bad it was.
we would have beat Geordie Smith for sure
Yep.
for 10 minutes, and then as he does, he had that sort of veteran attitude, and you could kind of tell he wasn't counting himself out yet, and sat out there. And Griffin actually made a pretty bad priority error, taking a wave that was no good, and it actually allowed Geordie to on the next set. I don't think it was the very next wave, but it was the next set. He had his pick of but only waited for the second wave, did the freaking floater from hell on a big wave. But saw people questioning that score.
There was some.
I don't agree one bit with that. Like,
One judge went 9.
I'd love it. Like a backhand floater on a 6 to 8 foot wave that is barreling.
Sorry, trim it to 6. I'll call it 6.
It was a big wave, man, and he was sitting on the lip. Like, you're looking down at reef, very shallow reef.
Shish kebabs.
Yeah, you're looking down at the termed shish kebab section. He's sitting up on the lip, and to come down, airdrop 6 foot onto what is essentially probably 3 foot of water, if that, is very scary. It's very committed. It's very hard to do. He also had a very good turn before that. I loved the score. I thought like it was very. It was surfing that almost demanded you give him a big number because of how critical and how high risk it was. It wasn't any fluff. It was a big barreling section.
Big section.
Yeah.
That was a knee buster.
It was. You could very easily could get injured on that, doing that turn where he did it.
Do you think they threw a bit of GST on it just to get him back into it?
No, I don't even think so. I mean, as soon as he did it, I was like, that's got to be an 8, which it was.
High 8, I think.
It was a mid 8, yeah, mid to high 8, which I like the score because it was Griffin was getting similar scores, maybe like a bit less, obviously, because that was the highest score of the day, I believe.
Yeah.
In that sort of high 7 range for doing surfing that was very good, but no real high risk of getting injured. It was just very stock for him, getting to the end of the wave, pulling off, or doing a closeout Rio. This thing was like mid wave, the whole reef drew up out of the water, and you could see he just was like, I've got to just put my board up in the lip here. And he did, and he rode out in a very, very precarious spot on that wave. And to land that turn there, I think you just got to reward high risk, which is exactly what that was.
They did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he posted the 8.67, and then with 7 minutes to go, he has to answer back because he needs 2 scores at this point.
Yes.
So, he used priority and melted.
He melted big time. He needed like a mid 5 to begin with.
Yep.
Took off on a really bad wave, which may have been under priority, but anyway, worked his way back out. Griffin handed him back priority and then moved inside and actually stole one underneath him, which he dropped another high 7 on. Griffin did.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Geordie, from that point, he needed like a mid to high 6, which just didn't come in for him. He didn't have enough
did
time.
get the answer back at the end.
Yeah, it just wasn't. There's not enough venom in that wave to give him the
I think
score.
It was 4.
It was a 4. And
you can tell when there's hardly anything left in the wave and they're still trying to milk it.
He was doing friggin' QS cutties all the way down the line.
He was doing QS cutties for sure. So when a surfer does that, it's a subtle way.
And you can tell, like, the commentators are going, he's asked the question. It's like, he definitely hasn't.
No.
It's like, there's no question there.
And then to get us on there and just be like, and Geordie, that's not it. All right.
Not the score, brother. That's not it.
I love the way they dance around something for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, for example, that turn that we were discussing before, Flick, it was with, Flick was talking about Gabby.
Yeah.
And I said, like when I was watching it live, I was like, a fucking back leg just failed.
Yeah.
And she was like, Flick was like, oh, yeah, there was a bit of a boggle in the wave and swirl direction. And then I was like, she just fucked it.
Yeah. Seriously,
There's
man.
no other way to say it. She just fucking cooked it. It's all right. We do that. I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah, yeah.
But you just got to call it as it is, Finley, and just say, oh, you fucked it, mate.
Common theme. They do like to have a bit of narrative, and even to the point where, like, because I was at work today trying to watch this where possible, and had it on the TV behind me, and even to the point where, like, they were asking so much of a question, the commentators of it, that I was like, maybe I've missed something here. Like, maybe she did like a freaking rodeo flip at the start of the wave. I'm not sure. So sure enough, turn around and try and watch it, and it's like, oh no, he's just done 5 of the biggest burger calves you've ever seen. You know, there was a couple like verticals in there, but it was a small wave. It was never going to be remotely close to a 6, and it wasn't. And Geordie got sent packing with the highest score of the day. But yeah, look. To be fair, we didn't really give Geordie much of a chance, and we made that very clear. When it got to his heat and the conditions that were at hand, I actually was like, Geordie's actually a sniffy. Like, if he can get through one heat,
Yeah.
he's got a big enough donkey kick on him on his backside to actually...
What?
Donkey kick?
Oh.
Like his back end.
I thought you were talking to his prong.
Oh, no.
He'd have a big prong there.
You'd imagine if he's like 6'3", but anyway.
Imagine being 6'3" with a small prong.
So, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say there. But
Oh, just throwing out my brain's a bit weird.
it is. We've
Remember, we're gay fucktards.
yeah, we are. Yeah.
Continue.
But yeah, look, Geordie, it wasn't to be for him. It probably was as good a conditions as he could have hoped for at Fiji to do some damage. He did some damage, but it wasn't enough in the end. Griffin progresses.
I love that he put up the fight, though.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. We move now on to the women's final. We have Caroline Marks taking on Molly Picklum in this one. If Molly wins, she is the world champion. She goes into this one with priority.
Yep.
She goes into this one, like I said, only needing to win this single heat. Caroline knows that she's just surfed through 3 previous heats and will need to force this one into a second surf off to actually be the champion. So she knows she has to go out all guns blazing here. And look, I honestly thought it was going to be just the Molly show. Like, Caroline had looked good through the draw at this point, but Molly's sort of shown throughout the year, as soon as the waves get serious, she's hard to handle. And to be fair, Caroline surfed really well in this one.
Molly's start was fucking awful.
Molly, so I sort of saw this, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm going to just say it because this is exactly how I read into it. And the second she went out, and I heard the commentators going, oh, like, Molly had priority, but gee, she didn't give Caroline any room to start the heat. And I was just going, that stinks of someone that is surfing defensively rather than surfing offensively. And I think she was like, I'm just going to, like, I only have to win this heat. If I can just sit next to Caroline and just control everything she does, that'll be enough, and I'll be able to surf as good as I can on my waves and beat her. And it just seemed like every time, like, she controlled that first exchange, went up in the lip, fell off. So immediately in her head, she's going, I've just blown it. Then Caroline gets a really bad wave behind her. I don't know what she was thinking there. Gets about a 4. Hands the keys right back to Molly again. And you're like, okay, she'll break away here. Like, she'll go back out, wait for a 7, and she'll put the rest of this heat to bed. But you could just see every time she took off, it was like she was really nervous and she was surfing just to get enough each time. It wasn't like, I'm going out to get a 7 or an 8, put the pressure on Caroline and put this thing to bed. She was just going, all right, I'm just going to take off here, do 2 backhand snaps. That'll get me a 5.5 or a 6 that I need to get into the lead. And you could just see it blew up in her face. And that's not Molly's style of surfing. All year, she's like attack. She's just out surfing her competitors. And you could just see like a little bit of maybe like nerves of watching it all day, going, oh, like, Caroline's been surfing through the draw. Like, she's going to be tired. Like, maybe I can just sit next to her, control the first wave, and then from there, just beat her with 6s rather than try and beat her with 7s and 8s. And it really blew up in her face in this heat because she didn't do well at all. Caroline had the pick of the bunch. She put up a couple, 12.5 heat total, which isn't her highest of the day. It's actually, she'd had two heat totals higher than that. But just Molly never really looked a factor again. Looked really like she was struggling and really nervous.
I think it's, if what you're saying is true, and it probably is, like if I'm trying to win the fucking world title, I'm going to go out and do anything I can to do it.
Yeah.
Not the way to win though, hey?
No.
Like you're there to smash it, and especially having that year that Molly's had, she's won, 4 events?
Yeah.
To go out there and win it by just blocking and doing the bare minimum would be pretty shitty to see.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she almost learnt the hard way and went, oh shit, like this isn't going to work. But you'd have to think, you're on Fiji for a week at that time when you land there and you get driven out to the islands, you think there's big swell coming, you got a week to ponder. Like you've only got to surf one heat. You're the one to beat. It is yours to lose. Then you watch Caroline dominantly beat everyone throughout the whole day, and then you paddle out first wave and fall off. Like, fuck, man, that's tough.
Your head is spinning at that point for sure.
Menu would look like melted Gouda cheese just on a toasty.
Yeah, dude, that would have done me in pretty quickly.
I would have paddled in.
And the only reason I know, kind of when I saw what I was looking at when I saw her kind of surfing defensively rather than offensively, is like, that's oftentimes my tactic in a heat. Like, and I've had no competitive success at all. But at times, especially in like board riders events where there's no priority, or there's like you can sort of manage it a little bit more. Like, I'll just go out and go, I'm gonna just try and get 2 5s and then paddle up this prick's inside the entire rest of this heat and just make sure he cannot get a wave to beat me. And if one comes, I'm gonna be on it. And like, that is surfing. That's the strategy of someone that is not backing their ability one bit. That's just someone going, I can get 2 5s and I'm going to just try and stop you.
Is that what we did first round Libar board riders in February against Stuart Kennedy?
That's what I do every Libar board riders. That's all I can do, mate. And yeah.
So you're saying it doesn't work?
No, it works occasionally if you're in Libar or if you're in the Kira Team Challenge.
Wahoo Grom Comp.
If you're going for a world title, it's not the strategy. It's not the play. And I could see it from my own, like, just looking at it going, I've been there. Like, this is what I've done.
Were you just yelling at the screen going, Molly, no, that's what I do.
Seriously, man. I was going,
leave that for me.
I've seen this before, Molly. It doesn't work. Don't do it.
Oh, as Snake Pato says.
Not at this level.
Yeah.
No, and she quickly adapted, which again we'll move to. But this one, like, you kind of neither ladies really run away with it, but Caroline puts herself on the better waves, and
Caroline could have got a 10, bro.
Caroline
got cone.
Yeah.
And might I add, she got some serious travel time. And I'm always the first person to, talk. What am I trying to say? Like, when a female surfer gets a wave and they just glaze it, they're like, oh my god, best ever. I'm like, call it as it is. Like, that's a fucking 4. That's a men's 4.
Yeah.
This one was genuinely could have been a 10.
Yeah, she made it.
Yeah,
pushing through it.
There was 3 waves like that today.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Caroline gets the chockies there.
She gets the dub.
If you're Molly at this point, you're going, oh no, I've just dropped the world title. I had it right in my hands there, and I've had a shocker.
Could have had the one, but have to go into the surf off.
Have to now win the next 2 heats, not just into the surf off. I have to win the next 2 heats now, and if Caroline wins one more, I'm toast.
Yep.
But anyway, move on to the men's final. Someone that didn't have to force a surf off was Yago Dora, and
no, read it like I put it.
You can read it, mate.
It's Yago fucking Dora the Explorer.
Well, and he was exploring a number of options today on his waves. Didn't actually go to the air, which was unique because that's usually his go-to. But like, you saw him come out of the gates, and you're like, oh, like,
holy fuck!
What are you like? He's been watching surfing all day. He's going, I've just watched Griffin just absolutely piece crew together all the way through, and he goes on his first wave. It's only 2 turns, but it's the most savage 2 turns that we saw of the entire day. It
was just like,
you're just like, he's on.
You get clarity instantly. You're like, like you said, when the hands leave the rail, you're like, okay, is he going to look boggly? Is he going to look stressed? Is he going to look nervous? None of those listed items.
Nah.
He went fucking balls to the wall, and it clicked and connected, and it was just like, that was the moment. You're like, oh man. I didn't count out Griff because he was dominant in the last 2 heats.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I'm pretty happy that I picked Yago to win the world title on the fantasy.
you knew it wasn't going to be like you knew it wasn't going to be one of those heats where they get sort of left at the starting gates, and maybe Griffin, who'd had a couple warm up heats to get going, was gonna take the win. It was like second you saw that, you went, oh, Yago's on here, and sure enough, he was. He backed that 7 up pretty quickly with an 8, I think, and pretty well just iced Griffin out. There was room for Griffin to get the score right at the end of the heat, which we put on our Instagram, and it was hotly debated. And you'd have to think if he comes out of that barrel, he goes very, very close to getting the 9.3 required.
Oh man, they would have. You know what they would have done? The old waiting for scores red tab would have been there for 2 hours.
They would have run the ladies' second final and then gone, oh, the score's come in for that last one. They're going to have to reset.
They would have done the old drip feed. The one judge, is locked in.
Yeah.
Second judge locks in like 30 seconds after, and then they sit on that.
Yeah.
Wait for the average, tin hat, remember. And I reckon it would have gone short.
Dude, I
would have been a 9 flat.
I think they would have given him a 9.5. I think they would have given him the score purely based on that second turn airdrop into the pit. It wasn't like a airdrop set it up. It was just like airdrop, and he went, oh, it's barreling, and it fully threw out. It wasn't a sort of a washy barrel or like a crumbly barrel. It was proper. I think they would have really appreciated that airdrop into the pit.
I would have gone 9.5.
I think they would have. This is how my breakdown. I think it would have been like a 9, 3 9.5s, a 9, and a freaking, I don't know. Someone would have thrown a 9.3, and it would have averaged out at like a 9 something. No, over the requirement. There would have been
3 9.5s. It would have come out at 9.5.
No,
take the high and the low.
No, you get rid of the 9, you get rid of the 9.5, and then you got a 9.3 and 2.
Oh, you threw the 9.3 in there. Sorry. Yeah.
So I think there would have been. Maybe I think it might have been much closer than like a lot of people thought. Like they love when you get put in a really awkward position and then you make that work for you, and that it almost adds an extra level of
But then the question would have begged was Griffin the best surfer of the heat? I feel like when those scores are right on the cusp, they don't look at that anymore.
Yeah,
they go, well, this is too hard.
Yeah,
like if we say yes or no, we're going to be fucking grilled by Brazil. Yeah. Or America. So let's just think about the heat from a new lens rather than the wave. Mm-hmm. Who was the best surfer in the heat?
Okay, well,
that's what they go back to.
I put this to you. So Yago 7, the start of the heat, comes out really, really good first turn into a pretty, like, it was sick. The thing that made that combo sick was how quickly he came out of the first turn into the second turn. That second turn wasn't anything crazy, but it was the transition out.
Bigger wave too.
Bigger wave. That's a 7. Griffin does 2 turns, not as seamlessly linked, but probably equally as big. Maybe you'd even say the second turn was bigger than Yago's second turn, where he did it and then gets a barrel. Is that barrel worth 2.5 points? I think it probably was.
Yes, but they're not. I think
it's not linear. It's not a linear scale, and they don't necessarily go, oh, there's 7 and then the barrel's 2.5. But I think
it's not objective.
If you put them all together, I think they would have had a real good look at it, and I reckon it would have come in. I think it would have been very close.
I think you put the barrel at the start, followed by 2 turns. Bingo! Ding ding ding.
It's okay. It didn't happen, so we don't have to worry about it.
Clamped.
But it would have been.
But there was a Houdini barrel exit by Griffin in that heat.
Yeah. And what just for reference, what score did they give that? Because
I forget. It didn't go in his top 2, I don't think.
No,
because it's just like a.
Oh no, it did, but because I think they gave it a. Oh no, so they gave that wave a 6. That last 2-turn wave that he fell on, he gave it a 6 already.
Okay. So was the barrel a 3?
Was the barrel worth sort of 3.3? Potentially.
Oh, honestly, like it wasn't like this is getting so fucking critical. It wasn't that deep blue. It was like half foamy.
you can't the colour of the water.
I fucking am.
That's so crazy.
Hey, if you're gonna crown the world title, I'm getting the fucking colour of the water. I'm going to Bunnings getting the colour coded for that thing.
You're getting the number, the 006.
100%.
Friggin'. What do you, sapphire blue?
Or is it 1333 orange? Yeah, cheeky boy.
Look, push on from that.
I love that no one knows what we're talking about.
They will soon. In the end, though, Yago's your world champion. Very well deserved.
Thank fuck Finley.
Best surfer all year.
Yep.
And Finley called it in episode 1. Finley also backtracked on that in episode 38. But I did call it in episode 1, and there will be a video of me saying it. I actually went back today to find it because I thought I might have dreamed that I said it. I was worried, but I actually did say it.
Nice.
Yago world champ at
Bravo,
Fiji.
sir. Cheers.
Thank you, mate.
Well, cheers, Yulies. You're on the ciders.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the ciders?
I'm a ciderman.
Mhm.
I like ciders. Yulies do a very good cider as well.
Yep.
It's nice. If you like ciders, get yourself some of those because they're nice. They're not too bitter. I don't like a bitter cider. You get those. What you probably don't drink. So you're probably not into the cider.
I don't
scene.
love a cider.
You get ones sometimes that are really bitter.
Like an uppercut.
Yeah, I guess they're just not. I don't find them enjoyable to drink. Some people love them.
Mhm.
I like more of a sweet one. This is bang on. It's
Yeah.
not too. It's not super like sour, but it's also like not really sweet. It's sort of somewhere in the middle. It's good.
I know that everyone loves that because I think I've told you this story. I went to a bottle shop one day. I had to get some wine because we were doing a little dinner thing. And the bloke in front of me bought like a year's worth of those.
Yeah.
And I sent a photo to Simon and I was like, hey, look at this lay loading up. And he goes, my boss said that was another bloke who was just at the restaurant smacking like 100 of them. So if
Clearly-
old mate had 100 at the restaurant, 100 to go home with, I'm guessing they're pretty good.
Mate, they're good. I enjoy drinking them. I'm not like a huge drinker, as you know. Like I'll sit here in the pod and I'll have a few beers with you, but I don't really drink outside of that. But give me a cider and it's like apple juice. It just,
Give Finley a cider and he's hiring a pink limo and going to surf.
we're going to surfers.
Fucking
That's actually where we're going after this.
Yep.
So yeah, Yago world champ deserved.
So
it.
good.
We love it.
So good.
Now, ladies,
Volcom get the win. First win.
Volcom do get the win. Question on this. So footage emerges later of Yago hoisting the world title trophy, which is the biggest trophy in our sport.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get any bigger. Sans Volcom hat. Now, as team manager of a large surfing corporation,
So repeat. I think I'm following on. What? Sans?
sans means lack of.
Oh, no Volcom hat.
No Volcom hat.
I thought he was wearing a hat that says Sans.
No. He was not wearing a Volcom hat hoisting the world title trophy. Does that just make your stomach churn as a team manager?
Well, no, we're not allowed hats on the podium.
Molly had one on.
A Ripco one or a Red Bull one?
Probably a Red Bull one. I think she's got a head to. So the sort of more like endemic surf clothing brands.
Anyone who sponsors the WSL can get their hat on the podium. Red Bull is heavily sponsored the WSL.
Really?
Correct.
The finals? Or
They
in
sponsor the
general?
whole tour. Yeti sponsored the whole tour.
But
Lexus sponsored the whole tour.
Billabong, they sponsor the Pipe Masters, right? Or not anymore?
No, not anymore.
So you don't have any events on tour anymore?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but even like Molly can't wear a Rip Curl hat on the podium.
Really?
Well, Rip Curl don't sponsor the event.
So not on the podium. You can't wear a Volcom hat on the podium, but you can wear one in your post-seat interview.
There is times which you can, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
right. Interesting. There you go. Well, I thought that was
Mate,
funny.
Go watch
weird.
How Surfers Get Paid. There was a great episode about it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, where all the brands lose the hat.
Well, I probably saw, maybe that slipped me mind, but I didn't realize that you couldn't wear one on the podium.
No.
I just knew that you obviously say Billabong, you can sponsor an athlete, and used to be head to toe, but now sort of Red Bull and that have worked their way in so that certain athletes-
I believe if Griff won,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wears a Red Bull hat on the prime real estate
With a
meaning
Quicksilver
front,
on the
with
side or
two
something.
Quicksilver logos on the side.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that is allowed, but you're not allowed to run a.
So, I guess in Monster doesn't, because he's with Monster at Yago, right?
Correct.
They don't sponsor any events, so that's probably why. Okay, well there you go. That's just
If he wore a Monster hat, someone at Red Bull would catch on fire.
right. Okay. Well, that answers that. I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh, that's got to be an issue, but clearly not. That's
No,
perfect,
and
perfect
like,
response.
Bemi was there.
Mm.
Bemi is so invested in his athletes that
He would have slapped one on him.
Like there would have been a conscious little niggling thought of like maybe a hat, but he's just Mate, he would have been there fucking crying his fucking eyes out, just enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
Such a big moment.
Yeah.
I think the hat's probably the 20th thing going through his head.
Yeah. Fair.
Um,
Although, just say you could wear one on the podium, it's a pretty big miss if you're not wearing it hoisting the world champion trophy.
These athletes are so, like, dialed. They know when to put a hat on, take a hat off.
Yeah.
Like, you watch them walk up, like, when I was at Bell's, they walk up the stairs and they've got their coach and they give them a hat.
Yeah.
It's like clockwork.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And then they know when to take it off.
Okay.
But they're like all the photos on the podium and things, no hats. No hat, no play.
Okay.
Well, yeah. It depends. It depends on what the sponsor is.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Interesting. Well, that answers that then.
Yep.
So ladies heat 2. In my mind, this is Molly's head's gone. She's paddling out. Caroline's gonna start off well, get in Molly's head even further, and then just ice her out. And Molly was gonna come back to the ski after the heat and turn into a ball of tears and despair, and we probably wouldn't see her for a couple of weeks. But in Molly's style, comes out and just rinses the hell out of Caroline. Like not even close. And I was wondering, maybe at this point, is this so building swell? The waves were considerably larger than when they were earlier in the day. That Caroline seemed to be having a really good read on it and toweling people up. Maybe it was either one or two things. It was either she was intimidated by the size of the waves that were coming through, which is, again, it wasn't really heavy Cloudbreak, but that's my first sort of, like, I think that may have been it potentially. The other one is fatigue, because she had surfed 15 times that day and was very tired. Maybe a combination of both. And as waves get bigger, and if you're tired, it adds an extra element too. You're like, I can't do what I was doing on those 3-foot walls earlier on this now 6-foot wall. I'm too tired. Maybe a combination of both. But there was one wave in this heat that really summed it up for me. And it was Molly had just dropped a 7 and then paddled back out under Caroline's priority. And a wave came through, and it was very clearly a good wave. Like, I was watching the TV, you'd see first wave roll through, second wave pops up, and you see all the water drawing off the reef and perfect line on it. And you just go, that is, when you're surfing a point break or a reef break, that is exactly the type of wave you're looking for. And Caroline just lets Molly go. Molly takes off. She just goes, thanks for coming. Races down the line, parks it in the tube, gets spat out into the channel, pulls off, claim. And it's just like, I think that was the moment where Caroline sort of really dropped the momentum of that heat, and
the wheels fell off.
The wheels fell off for her. And that went from Caroline having from Molly having a 7 and maybe like a mediocre backup to having a 7 and an 8.83, and that was lights out, rather than potentially Molly having a 7 and Caroline having an 8.83. So look, that to me is a moment, that heat where, and the moment of this sort of world title surf off series, that kind of Caroline maybe gave Molly the edge, and you give Molly an inch and she'll take a mile, and that's exactly what she did here.
I think you nailed it with the fatigue thing. And I see it, like you mentioned, she free surfed before the heats.
Yeah.
At the start of the day, 35-minute heats are pretty big.
Yeah.
She would have been, wave count would have been 25 plus.
Yeah.
Long paddles. She got belted a few times.
Yeah.
She got washed in. She got washed over the reef a few times. You'd have to think that's taken a toll. And I just think it gets harder to fight back.
100%.
She's always going to be able to surf well if she gets a wave. Like your peak performance, she's been training all year, and your anxiety and arousal levels are optimum, but you just start running out of gas, I think, and the cracks start to show, and the cracks became pretty wide pretty quickly.
Just maybe not necessarily intimidate, but just seeing the decision making go from her, like that was very clearly a wave that she should have gone, and maybe that's why I thought she was intimidated, because it's clearly had a draw on it, and you can see it was probably going to barrel at some stage. For her not to go that one, like in the situation she was in, and just to let Molly go, probably looked maybe like a closeout. But as we know, the best waves at Cloudbreak are closeouts usually.
Mm.
And look like closeouts. They're not closeouts, but that was exactly where she dropped it for me. And it was
You'd have to think though, like she's been surfing it since early morning, and now it's late up.
two different conditions.
And it was 2 different days,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
How do you keep on top of that?
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
Whereas Molly paddles out and she's surfing what she sees right in front of her.
Yeah.
She's got nothing else to go off.
Yeah, 100%.
So you would have to think, Caroline's thinking historically, is this wave going to be good? Maybe, maybe not. I'll wait for the next one. Oh, fuck. Molly's got drained and spat out.
Yeah. And
That's how quickly it unfolds. You just go, holy shit, all right, I'm done.
I've now need a combination of 15.83 or whatever it was, and
Yep.
suddenly I'm going into a heat 3, which they did, and it was pretty much rinse and repeat. Not
And paste.
not in the same way. Molly didn't get barreled this, or she did actually, and she got a similar score, but she just was picking the eyes out of this heat. The barrel wasn't as good, but she commented up with a really nice turn, which is probably even better than the barrel itself, where she hit it. It was kind of like a griffin turn from earlier in the day. And you could just tell, like, all of whatever energy and whatever life Caroline had left in her had left her at this point. And it was just, it was really the Molly show. She puts up 16.93 to Caroline's 6.24.
Yeah, it's a rinsing.
That is a proper rinsing. She needed, like, she beat her by over 10 points, which is like not a 10-point requirement, but that's how much space there was between them. And yeah, like, it really was rinse and repeat. You don't really have to add too much into that. It just was like Molly went out, had all the energy in the world. It was game over really as soon as it started, and that was it. We had Molly hoisting the world title trophy.
Thoughts on that, Finley?
Me personally?
Yep.
So back to our conversation earlier with my financial investment. Ideally, Molly was going to be the champion of this event, and I'd forgotten that Caroline was going to come up against her at some point. She came up against her, and I'd pretty much, like, obviously, personally, I'd like the money in my account, but
Tell us how you really feel.
From the good of the sport and the real winner winning it on the day, like, you can't argue with the fact that Molly was the best surfer, similar to the men's, as Iago was. He was the best surfer all year. She was the best lady surfer all year.
Yeah.
And she was the worthy world champion in the end. And that was pretty much all she wrote. I'm sure, what are we now? It's 9 o'clock there, about midnight, so they're just getting into the pointy end of the night. I'm sure they're still kicking on pretty heavily.
I saw Iago fill up his trophy and give it a good swig. I just hope that they didn't put the fucking Corona Zeros in there.
I'm sure they would have.
Surely a fully.
They would have. But as soon as the cameras stopped, I saw, like, there was a video of Molly heading in on the skier, on the speedboat or whatever, and it was just like, get me like 12 Taveritas ready for when I get back. Like, it's pretty sick.
Oh, she'll be rinsing.
She'll be going so hard.
Good on her. We haven't had an Aussie world champion in quite some time now, since Steph Gilmore.
Yeah.
So
when
it's
was
good
that?
to, I think it's over 4 or 5 years ago.
Is it really?
I'm pretty sure.
It could have been 2 years ago. I don't know, but it was. We haven't had
Let's ask Google.
we haven't had a men's.
We're due for a men's one.
We're due for a men's. The ladies have been a bit more
Indeed.
successful.
Steph Gilmore. Spelled Steph wrong.
8th world title. I'm going to say 2 to 3 years ago.
Win her last.
You're like a grandfather.
Dude,
using
I'm
one
like
finger
Stephen
type.
fucking Hawking right now. When did Steph win her third
Why don't
world
you just go
title?
Steph world title? I'm sure it would have come up.
Okay, here we go. It was, holy shit. It's 2022.
Yeah, wasn't that long ago,
Well, no longer.
but that's okay.
It feels like an eternity ago.
Well, we haven't had a men's world
I
champion.
think that's what I was kind of alluding to.
Big Fanning would have been the last one, and that was quite some time ago. A lot of Brazilians and in the mix there, just cleaning up as they tend to do. But yeah, it's really a successful day of surfing
Yep, for sure.
in the people that took the win. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I think we should have maybe, like we touched on earlier, like maybe we could have waited till tomorrow. We'll never know now. Well, we'll know because there'll probably be some footage of someone getting severely, probably Strider getting really coned tomorrow in his free surf. But yeah, look, maybe not the waves we were hoping for, but the right surfers won on the final day of the year, which is exactly what we were after.
It's shit when you see someone win the regular season and lose the world title.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, regardless of the waves, everyone surfed really well. Well, not everyone, but the majority surfed really well, and the people's favourites got the win at the end of the day. So that's the wrap for the WSL Finals.
All right, we're back. I just had to let Maverick out for his wee.
Yep.
So we got a lot of questions today. So we're going to do some rapid fire, just roll through as many as we can.
Yep. Short and sweet.
We've been going for quite some time.
Hopefully he's still with us.
Yeah.
Let's go, Finley. So you ready?
Hit me.
Geordie said, what the hell happened to Jack Robbo? Melt.
The forecast. Waves.
Okay. I said melt. This is by Forbes_77. Love Jack so much, but that was the biggest melt for the ages. Correct.
It was and it wasn't. I think it's to be expected given his competitor and the waves that he was presented with, and that was always going to favour Italo, which caused him to try and surf out of his skin, which didn't work for him today because it just wasn't there.
In a roundabout way, that means a melt.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Lewis Flitney. Do you know him?
Yep.
What's next for Geordie?
Good question.
I think he's going to buy a yacht for sure.
I think he'll go again.
He'll go again.
I think he'll go again.
He'll go again. Waxhead, WSL and all the journos hyped it up for the max, but did it live up to the hype? 3, 2, 1. No. Sweet. Mitch Price, what the fuck were those conditions, cunt? might have just ran it at Trestles again. I think he forgot might as well of just ran it.
Fair.
So I think Mitch has had a few beers, but fair. Whatever _Trevor, no massive pits, boo. Yep, makes sense. Owen Kilby, Junior Source, what does FJ think about Smooth Stars?
They're great, mate.
Yeah, it's fun.
They're great.
Sunny _Maestri, did Griff get the score if he made the barrel? We've
kind of touched on that. I think he would have.
I said no. Riley Moore, 44, Jack Robbo having one of the all-time bed shits.
Sorry, Robbo.
Oh, I agree. That's a bed shit. Ayoto Fontes bet. I fucking butchered that, and I did. Who did you think will advantage more, the old or the new format?
Who do I think will advantage?
Who do you think? Yeah.
No, I think what he means is who's gonna be advantaged by the format they're running next year.
Yep.
And probably, I think your Ethan Ewings, your Philippe Toledo's, all those guys that can accumulate points at certain venues. I think they will be the guys that really.
I think anyone with a Brazilian flag next to their name is pretty well going to advantage.
Yeah, add them in the mix too.
Wake Setter 2. Wazzle curse continues pumping waves before the event window. Yes, correct. And after.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, no, within. The event window can run tomorrow.
It could run and the day after, I believe, right?
Yep. Chris Opia, Jack Rob's apple crumble of the heat.
God, poor bloke. Maybe cull any of the Jack Robbo questions. There's probably going to be a few.
Okay, righto. I'll get rid of it. Next one. Nathan _innings. Best waves that were underscored, overscored.
Look, I thought the judging was pretty good all day.
I thought it was pretty bang on.
Yeah, I don't think
there was only that one exchange, which was like 2 6s.
I don't think it.
No, it was a 4.93 and an 8.
Yeah.
Sorry, and a 5.
There's nothing. I'm not going to complain about any of the judging from
I thought
today.
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Reclaim _surf. Molly did it with the most possible grit. What a Laudette. Yep.
Did you see? Sorry, I'm just going on Instagram back to our comments on us getting abused. Someone's just jumped in one of the posts and written, I'm just going to make sure that I can say this. It's obviously Portuguese.
Oh, you had to translate it?
Yeah, I'm just translating it quickly because it looks offensive. Yeah. Oh, it's not actually that bad. He's just replying to everyone in our comment section, chora gringo, which means cry gringo. It's just someone who speaks Portuguese. Just
Fun fact, do you know what gringo comes from?
No.
So gringo is like tourist, right?
Sure.
It's like a foreigner.
Yeah.
It translates to green go in
Right.
English. Gringo is the American khaki color.
Yes.
And the Spanish were saying green go. You're wearing green.
I see.
So you're a gringo.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Don't ask me how I know that, but it's true. _ Alex Blake _ Molly would beat majority of the men who didn't make the cut. I strongly disagree.
I don't think so.
I love Molly, but not that much. George Muir. Found myself stoked, relieved that MP beat CM, even though CM won me 700.
Me too, brother. Me too.
I'm good at reading. Hunko Dunko 3. Flicks commentary. For me, it's painful.
Let's pass on that one. Go next. It can't end well.
I have to agree. Sorry, Flick. Love you. I just think that's better.
Sure.
Jessie Starling, get her in there. She's better than that.
Yeah, sure.
Wow, there is a few. So, Downhill Pirate, what happened to Jack? Is he ever going to compete?
Oh, the Jack
again?
one. The Jack ones can go. We don't need to ask any more questions about Jack. Yes, he will compete again. He's not hanging up the boots after that heat.
Oh, man. Do you reckon Jack Chicken's out of the final five?
No.
This is not good for Jack. Holy shit. Oh, this one's not good for Surfline. Kevin _ Haymore. Why does Surfline always miss the forecast?
I don't think it's like Surfline's fault there wasn't waves. It's just they did maybe overhype the waves that we were getting. That was the issue.
True. Someone said, thank fuck, final five is over.
Correct. Love that.
Man, there's fucking plenty. We're going to be here all night.
Just go every second one, maybe.
Callum Wells asked whether or not the public think your boy Z-Man looks like J.O.B. Do I look like Jamie O'Brien, people? If I do,
You actually do, but a less salty and crusty version of him.
He's a ranger with freckles.
Yeah, you're not ranger, but you just don't. You look.
Or freckles.
No, you've got like similar like face
Fuck off.
shape.
So I look like a thumb.
Sure. I don't think he's a particularly bad looking bloke, by the way.
Oh,
You don't look. You're a less crusty, sun dried version of JB.
I'm trying to find some good in that, but I can't. I reckon on that note, mate, we wrap this up.
Zach's ready to go to bed.
I am
tired.
I am tired. It's been a big day of surfing, mate. I watched the whole CT event.
So Zach's about to roll out, go to bed. I'm gonna sit here until all hours of the morning editing this thing. You have it ready for your ears.
Yeah,
your
but
lovely
this is like equivalent to like midnight for me, and this is like 4 p.m. for you.
Yeah, righto. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone.
We tried our best to do a pretty succinct wrap up, and
I think we did.
And
I think we smashed it, mate.
Pretty good wrap up, and get in there before everyone else. Just get it out nice and early so you guys can relive it tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for what will be. We're looking at the content that's going to be over the next few weeks. We're thinking we're going to do some recaps of individual surfer performance throughout the year. So we're gonna start off with that next week, and we'll get into that then. But
and we got plenty of guest interviews coming as well.
there's guests coming. We're gonna load up the guests over the off season too, and obviously as always, Challenger Series is running at the same time, so there'll be a more in depth view on that.
Couple Q bangers too.
Yeah, a couple of Q bangers, but we won't go as much into the Qs. The Challenger will be the main focus. There'll be some qualification sort of scenarios that begin to occur in the not too distant future. So they'll all be coming up too. But thanks to Yulis for supplying the drops for tonight, and we'll catch up with you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
I'm gonna have another 4.
Good night.
Good night.